Good morning, students. Today I am going to teach you the first chapter, that is written by Alphonse Daudet, and the name of the chapter is Last Lesson. Let's go through some of the information about the author. Alphonse Daudet was a French novelist, playwright, and was a part of French naturalism movement. He started his career as a school teacher, but quickly he gave up teaching and decided to go to Paris to become a journalist. He also wrote some of the plays which made him popular in literary circle. And the chapter that we are going to learn is set in the days of Franco-Prussian War, the war between France and Germany that occurred in the year 1870 to 1871, in which France was defeated by Prussia led by Bismarck. And this story provides us a brief, memorable glimpse of how one's language is rooted to one's identity and what happens when there is an attempt to snap the tie between people and their language. Here in this chapter, here we are talking about two districts that are Alsace and Lorraine, which have been captured by Prussia, means by Germany. And what happened when the language of the conqueror is imposed on the enslaved people. And at that point of time, they feel that their identity is endangered. And what they should do as a nation, what they should do, and even their basic rights to speak a language is also, it is in a risk. Let's go through the chapter, but the theme of the chapter is language. Language is one's identity. Like, take an example, as we Indians, we speak different languages, but by language we can identify a person. Language shows our culture. Language, we can say that when somebody speaks a language, that person is expressing his whole identity. The third theme is education. Look, without education, we cannot survive in this competitive world. And the people of Alsace and Lorraine, they did not want to have more knowledge through language, so they actually suffered. So this chapter also talks about, if you really want to be successful in your life, then one must have more education. Next is war. That what would happen that when a country is under attack, when country is going through a very difficult condition of war. And at that point of time, every person of that nation feel patriotic. He wants to do his best for his country. And in this chapter, it also talks about that how one should perform his duty to be patriotic. Okay, and what are the characters? The first character is French, a little child. He is also a narrator of this chapter. He is actually telling us the whole story, that what happens in his village because of war, because the two districts, Alsace and Lorraine, have been captured by German army. M. Hamel is a French teacher who gives the last lesson to the people of this small village in the district of Alsace and Lorraine. So let's go to the chapter. In the very first paragraph, French says that he was late for the school as he had not prepared the rules of participle, and he was scared that if he would attend the school, he would be scolded by his teacher. So let's read the first paragraph. I started for school very late that morning, and I was in great dread of scolding. He feared that he would be scolded. Especially M. Hamel had said that he would question us on participle, as he had not prepared the rules of participle, and I did not know the first word about them. For a moment, I thought of running away and spending the day out of door. So he thought that it would be better if he would escape from the school and spend his day outside. And it was so warm, so bright, he felt it would be better to go outside and enjoy the beauty of nature. The birds were chirping at the edge of the woods, and in the open field back of the sawmill, the Prussian soldiers were drilling. It was more enticing, it was more tempting to see this German soldier drilling rather than attending the school. So it was all much more tempting than the rule for participle. He thought that it's better he would go and see this Prussian soldier drilling rather than attending school, and as he was not prepared for participle, he would be scolded. But I had the strength to resist. He did not have that strength to resist this thing and hurried out to the school. He went to the school. He thought that it would be better for him if he would attend the school. And when I passed the town hall, there was a crowd in front of the bulletin board. For the last 2 years, all our bad news had come from there, the lost battles, the draft, the orders of commanding officer. And I thought to myself, without stopping, what can be the matter now? Look, the bulletin board at the town hall, this is the place from where the people of this village, the people of this particular village always used to get bad news. The bad news like lost battle, the draft, the orders of commanding officer. So at that point of time, French was thinking, now this time what would be the matter today? What bad news must have been published on that bulletin board? So he didn't think about this thing, and then when he was going towards the school, at that point of time, as I hurried by as fast as I could go, the blacksmith, and at that point of time, the blacksmith watcher, the name of the blacksmith is Watcher, who was there with his apprentice. He was working with his apprentice, and at that point of time, the blacksmith called him out. Reading the bulletin, called after me. He said, he called him that don't go so fast, bub. Look, in a very loving tone, he said, bub. Bub means a small child. He said, don't go so fast. You will get to your school in plenty of time. That you have a lot of time to reach there. Why he said so? Because he knew the reason that from tomorrow onwards, these students of this particular village would not be able to learn their beloved language, that is French. Because an order has come from Berlin, Germany, that they would be taught German from tomorrow onward. So that was the news published on the bulletin board at the town hall. I thought he was making fun of me and reached M. Hamill's little garden all out of breath. He was in a hurry to reach the school anyhow, as he had the dread that he would be scolded. But when he reached the school, what he found, usually the people, when he reached the school, he found it unusually quiet. Usually the school, when there was lot of great hustle and bustle when the school started, which could be heard out in the street, the opening and the closing of desk, lessons repeated in unison. When students are speaking their lesson, they speak it repeatedly together, and it was a lot of commotion, confusion, and it was very loud with our hands over our ears to understand better. So this was the routine, or we can say general scenario of everyday school. But on that particular day, the school was very quiet. The reason was very obvious, that the students would be taught only French. The student would be taught German language on words. And the teacher's great ruler rapping on the table. This was the scene when teacher always used to thumping his ruler in his hand. But now it was all so still. I had counted on the commotion to get to my desk without being seen. French was always used to, when he entered the school, he relied on that confusion, commotion and noise that he would reach to his place without being noticed, without being seen. But of course, that day everything had to be as quiet as Sunday morning, as if they were attending, morning church. And that day everything had to be as quiet as Sunday morning. Through the window I saw my classmate already in their places and Am Hamel walking up and down with his terrible iron ruler under his arm. So he actually got terrified that if he would enter the class, he would be scolded, as the whole class was quiet. He felt very embarrassed. And I had to open the door and go in before everybody, and you can imagine how I blushed. He felt very embarrassed and how frightened I was. So at that point of time, Franz was very frightened that if he would go to his place as he was already late, he would be scolded, he would be reproached. But nothing happened. Am Hamel saw me and said very kindly, he said, "Go to your place quickly, little Franz. We were beginning without you. If you had not come, we would have started the chapter. It is better, really, that you have come." I jumped over the bench and sat down at my desk. Not till then, when I had got a little over my fright. When Franz reached at his place, when he occupied his place, he actually got some control over his fear. And did I see that our teacher had on his beautiful green coat, his frilled shirt and the little black silk cap, all embroidered. Look, today, as it was not a special occasion, but still he was wondering why his teacher was in his best attire, why his teacher was in his best clothes. That was green coat, his frilled shirt. Frilled means, the narrow strips. And he had the little black silk cap, all embroidered, that he never wore except on inspection and prize days. So this kind of clothes he wore only on special occasion like inspection or award ceremony. Besides, the whole school seemed so strange and solemn. The whole school was very serious. The students, even some of the villagers of that particular area, they had also occupied the back benches of the class. But the thing that surprised me most was to see on the back benches that were always empty, the village people sitting quietly like ourselves. And Alphonse, Alphonse means he's a villager with his three-corner hat, the former mayor, the former postmaster, and several other besides. So village elders were occupying the back benches. Why they had been there? They wanted to actually express their gratitude towards this teacher that Am Hamel has been doing his job for last 40 years very faithfully. Everybody looked sad, and Hossier had brought an old primer. Mr. Hossier had brought an old primer. What is old primer? Primer means is a book of learning basic things, and thumbed at the edges, and he held it open on his knees with his great spectacle lying across the pages. While I was wondering, he was thinking that what was the reason that why the teacher was in his best clothes. And Am Hamel mounted his chair. Am Hamel went up to his chair. He occupied his chair, and in a very grave and gentle tone, in a very serious tone, he said, which he had used to me. He said, "My children, this is the last lesson I shall give you. This is the last chapter that I am going to teach you, as our district, Alsace and Lorraine, have been captured by German army. So a new teacher of German language will join tomorrow, and I won't be teaching you French language anymore. The order has come for Berlin to teach only German in the schools of Alsace and Lorraine. The new master comes tomorrow. This is your last French lesson. I want you to be very attentive." What a thunderclap these words were to me. Look, what a thunderclap. It means here, the meaning of thunderclap means it was really a very shocking news for this small child, for this little French. He never thought that he would never be able to learn this language, but he had to accept it. Oh, the wretches. Now we understood, now we realize why that wretcher, why the blacksmith was telling him that you had plenty of time to reach the school. Now we understood that what was the reason behind that why people gathered at the bulletin board at the town hall. Why? Because the order had come that from tomorrow onwards, no French language would be taught to them. And oh, the wretches, that was they had put up at the town hall. Now we understood why people gathered at the town hall. My last French lesson, why I hardly knew how to write. Now we felt very bad that he was not even able to write and read properly. I should never learn anymore. I must stop there then. Oh, how sorry I was for not learning my lesson. So it also talks about when you don't have proper education, when you don't know even, in spite of being French, he was not able to read and write French language. He felt very sorry. So when, it also talks about when in Gujarat also, you would find that so many students, they are not even able to speak their mother tongue. So that is really shameful for them. And they feel very bad when they go into the society. And sometimes I have seen, sometimes even parents are very, taking pride into that. They're very proud that their child is not able to speak the mother tongue. They're very proud that they're speaking the foreign language. Oh, he's speaking French, German, but he's unable to speak Gujarati, he's unable to speak his mother tongue. Really, this is really pathetic on the part of. And how sorry I was not for learning my lesson, for seeking bird's eggs or going slide on the instead of learning his lesson. He was interested to go to enjoy the beauty of nature, like sliding on the Sar. Sar is the name of a river. My books that had seemed such a nuisance a while ago. A while ago, he felt that the books were a nuisance to him, but now the same books, so heavy to carry, my grammar and my history of the saints were old friends now, but these books now have turned into his best friends. That I could not give up, and M. Hamel were, I could not give up, and M. Hamel too. The idea that he was going away, that I should never see him again. I felt very bad that I would not be able to get any knowledge from my teacher, M. Hamel. The idea that he was going away, that I should never see him again, made me forget all about his ruler. Earlier he used to punish the student with his ruler, and how cranky he was. He was very strange, he was very stern, he was very strict. But today he finds him very polite and very kind. Poor man, it was in honor of this last lesson that he had put on his fine Sunday clothes. And now he understood why he was in his best attire, in his best clothes. The reason was that as it was going to be his last lesson, he has worn these beautiful clothes. And now I understood why the old men of the village, why those village elders were occupying the back benches. The reason was that they were sitting there in the back of the room. It was because they were sorry to that they had not gone to school more, and even it shows that they were not able to learn that language properly. It was their way of thanking our master for his 40 years of faithful service and of showing their respect for the country that was theirs no more. It means these two districts, Alsace and Lorraine, are not the part of France anymore. While I was thinking of all this, I heard my name called. Now, teacher M. Hamel asked French to read something in French. And it was my turn to recite what would I not have given to be able to say that dreadful rule for the participle all through, as he was not prepared for the rules of participle. He felt very bad. He was also very fearful that he would be scolded, but he got mixed up when he started reading very loud and clear and without any mistake. But I got mixed up on the first word and stood there. When he started reading, he got mixed up, he got confused, and holding on to my desk, my heart beating, he felt he would be scolded, he felt he would be reproached for not reading it properly and not daring to look up. He was so frightened that he would not even look up at his teacher. I heard M. Hamel say to me, I won't call you little French, you must feel bad enough. See how it is. Every day we have said to ourselves. So here the teacher talks about that people have the habit of procrastinating. People keep on delaying the things. Although they know that they can do that thing today, but they do it tomorrow or sometime day after tomorrow. So he talks about the bad habit of the people of Alsace and Lorraine that they have not tried to learn this their beloved language, French. See how it is. Every day we have said to ourselves, I have plenty of time and I will learn it tomorrow. And now you see where we have come out. Oh, that's great. That is the great trouble with Alsace. And that is a big problem with this district, these people of the village, that they are unable to learn this language. The reason is that they keep on delaying it, that they would learn it tomorrow. And the time has come that now from tomorrow they would never be able to learn that language, as the order has come from Berlin that they would have to learn nothing but German only. So where we have come out, all that is great trouble with Alsace. She puts off learning till tomorrow. Now underline this sentence, she puts off learning till tomorrow. Here the word she is addressed to the motherland. Here she means the district Alsace, means the people of this village, the people of this district keep on delaying the learning till tomorrow. And this is the reason that why they are unable to learn this language. It means, really students, I would suggest you the same thing, that whatever the work that you have taken into consideration that you want to do it today, then really never delay that thing for tomorrow. Do it today only, and that would really make you more successful in your life. And it is said that small, if you keep on doing something every day, that small success every day will lead you to bigger success in your life, in your future time. And so where we need to live? Should we keep on thinking about our future? No, it is better that we should keep ourselves focused in present time only. And if you keep yourself in present, nobody can beat you. Okay, we are Hebronians. We should be proud of being called Hebronians. And the most important thing is that you should feel that you can do anything and have that confidence in you. You would never be beaten. You will be able to do anything in your life that you wish. Come back. So now those fellows out there will have the right to say to you. Now M. Hamel speaks something in a very sarcastic manner. He says those Germans will really make a satire on us. Look at these French people. They call them French and they are unable to learn their language. They are unable to speak their language. And how it is you pretend to be Frenchmen? Those fellow there would make a satire on us. That these people call themselves French and they are unable to speak French language, and nor they write their own language, but you are not the worst, poor little French, as he has found so many mistakes in the students also, even in the people of Alsace and Lorraine. And now he takes his own turn. He says we all have a great deal to reproach ourselves. We all are at blame. He is also blaming himself and even the people of Alsace and Lorraine. Now he gives 2 or 3 reasons why the students are unable to learn the language. First reason, he says, your parents were not anxious enough to have you learn. They preferred to put you to work on a farm. He says that your parents never wanted you to learn this language because they wanted more money. So they always took you to the farm in order to have little money. And he also finds, he also says that he is also to be blamed. Why? Because have I not often sent you to water my flowers instead of learning your lesson? So many times I have sent you to water the plants, to water the flowers in my garden instead of learning your lesson. So even here M. Hamel is really finding fault in him also, that why students are unable to learn the language. And he also says, and when I wanted to go fishing, did I not just give you a holiday? So these are the reasons that he himself has found in him. Then from one thing to another, M. Hamel went on to talk about French language. He said that the most logical, the most beautiful language in the world is none other but French language, saying that it was the most beautiful language in the world, the clearest, the most logical, that it is our responsibility that we must guard it, we must protect this language and never forget it. That because when people are enslaved, when people are under the slavery of any country, and at that point of time, as long as they hold fast, if the people of that particular country, they get attached to that language, it is as if they had the key to that prison. So the people of that particular country would have freedom, can easily find freedom. How? If they get attached to their own language. Okay, now the remaining chapter we will see in the next lecture. Goodbye.